What if I told you that a mysterious nomadic people, once feared by the mighty Greeks and Persians, shaped the destiny of an entire continent, yet left behind no great cities, no monuments, and no written language? Who were these people, and how did they manage to dominate Eurasia for centuries? This is the story of the Scythians, a civilization that thrived in the shadows of history, leaving us with more questions than answers. The Scythians were a nomadic people who roamed the vast steppes of Eurasia between the 9th century BCE and the 4th century CE. Their homeland stretched from the Black Sea in the west to the borders of China in the east. They were masters of the steppe, the endless grasslands that seemed barren to outsiders but provided everything the Scythians needed to survive. They lived in felt tents, raised herds of horses, sheep, and cattle, and moved constantly in search of fresh pastures. What made the Scythians so powerful was not just their mobility, but their skill in warfare. Ancient historians like Herodotus describe them as nearly invincible horse archers. They could shoot deadly arrows while riding at full speed, a tactic that bewildered armies trained in traditional combat. To enemies they seemed to appear from nowhere, attack with lightning speed, and vanish before retaliation was possible. This mastery of mounted warfare made the Scythians some of the earliest and most effective cavalry in history. But the Scythians were not just warriors. They were also traders and cultural intermediaries. The Silk Road, which later connected east and west, was preceded by networks established by nomadic peoples like the Scythians. They traded furs, livestock, and slaves with the Greeks, Persians, and Chinese, while also acquiring luxury goods such as gold ornaments, wine, and fine fabrics. In many ways, they were the glue that linked the great civilizations of Eurasia together. Yet, despite their importance, the Scythians left no written records. Everything we know about them comes from outsiders or from the treasures hidden in their burial mounds, the kurgans. These massive earthen mounds, scattered across the steppe, served as tombs for Scythian nobles. When archaeologists began excavating them, they uncovered astonishing treasures, golden jewelry, weapons, horse trappings, and even preserved bodies. Some of the most famous finds came from the frozen tombs of Siberia, where permafrost kept not only artifacts but also human remains and tattoos remarkably intact. The Scythians had a rich spiritual life. They believed in an afterlife where the dead would continue their existence much as they had in life. Horses were often sacrificed and buried with their masters, ensuring they would ride together in the next world. Their tattoos, intricate designs of animals like deer, leopards, and eagles, may have held spiritual meanings, linking the Scythians to the powerful forces of nature around them. Herodotus also recorded curious rituals, some shocking by modern standards. He described how Scythians drank the blood of the first enemy they killed, or how they used the skulls of defeated foes as drinking cups. Whether these accounts were exaggerated or not, they painted the Scythians as both fierce and terrifying to their enemies. But what truly set the Scythians apart was their role in shaping history. They were not merely raiders on the edge of civilization, they influenced great empires. The Persians under King Darius I tried to conquer them but failed miserably. The Greeks, who traded with them across the Black Sea, adopted elements of their art and mythology. Even centuries later, the nomadic cavalry tactics pioneered by the Scythians would be used by the Huns, the Mongols, and countless other steppe peoples who reshaped Eurasia. By the 3rd century BCE, however, the Scythians' dominance began to wane. Other nomadic groups, such as the Sarmatians, rose to power and pushed them aside. Some Scythians settled in Crimea and along the Black Sea coast, blending with local populations and eventually disappearing as a distinct people. But their legacy lived on, carried forward by the nomadic cultures that followed in their footsteps. Today, the Scythians remain a mystery. Without cities or writings, their story is told through fragments, golden treasures buried in the earth, haunting tattoos on ancient skin, and echoes in the writings of foreign historians. Yet, despite the silence of their own voices, their impact on Eurasia was profound. They were warriors who shaped the art of mounted combat, traders who connected east and west, and a people whose spirit roamed freely across the vast steppes. So who were the Scythians? Were they ruthless barbarians, as their enemies claimed, or were they the unseen architects of connections that bound together the ancient world? Perhaps they were both, fierce warriors and skilled diplomats, destroyers and builders, forgotten and yet unforgettable. One thing is certain. The Scythians remind us that history is not only written in stone or ink, but also in the untamed spirit of those who refused to be tied down, who carried their world on horseback, and whose legacy continues to ride across the winds of the Eurasian steppe.